Hey y'all, Lysa Davis, the trusted banker. Hey, just got out of church on this beautiful Sunday morning. About to get started with my day, but I wanted to talk to you guys real briefly, and we're still going to do Money Mondays tomorrow at 7 p.m. with the Trusted Banker. So this is just something that I wanted to talk about because it happened this week in our group, the Trusted Banker group. If you're not a member of the Trusted Banker group, you might want to join. We're having lively discussions in there, and maybe some disagreements, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it's getting really real frisky in there. And I like it because I'm understanding more where people are coming from when it comes to money matters and when it comes to credit. And this is why I do this. And it's important to me to understand what you know, what you don't know, so that from an industry perspective. Now, remember, I'm a banker for 20 years. What I talk to you about is from an industry perspective, nothing else. It's from a banking industry perspective, thinking about, as a banker, what we reviewed when we looked at any type of loan for residential, equipment, commercial, as far as loan committee and credit card to get you approved. So I'm talking from an industry perspective, not necessarily from an emotional perspective, or I think, or I believe. I'm telling you what happens behind the scenes in the bank so that you will know what you need to do in order to become bankable. And that's what my whole premise is about. And so, hello. Hey y'all. But tomorrow we will do Money Mondays tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. But if you're not a member of my Trusted Banker group, you might want to join because it's getting a little frisky in there with the conversations. And also hit up my Trusted Banker page to get more information. But I wanted to talk to you. I posted the article about Kamala Harris, who presented legislation to include rent, utilities, cell phone bills, and other things on a credit report. And I asked, what do you think? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? I just wanted to get an idea of what everybody thinks. And then I'll tell you what I know from a banker's perspective as far as when you're looking at credit and you're making a determination upon approval for certain opportunities and products. But a lot of people, I would say the majority of people were against it, and they felt that it would hurt people of low income or people with that were not able to make their payments on their utilities. Even sometimes people skip utility payments, or they're not always great with utility payments or cell phone bills, or they're late on their rent. And so some people thought that it would help people, it would hurt people if that was to be added into the credit report. And even some people said it would hurt the debt to income ratio. The first thing I want to clarify is your credit report has nothing to do with your debt to income ratio. It does not calculate that. What your credit report does is shows your payment history on any debt that you owe, or any open debt that you've taken out in agreement with that contractor or with that corporation or with that creditor, right? Bankers calculate your debt to income ratio. The underwriters calculate your debt to income ratio. I calculate debt to income ratio. Debt to income ratio is not calculated on a credit report because your income is not factored into your credit report. So they don't have income information on your credit report. That's illegal. That's privacy. Your income, what you make monthly, yearly, weekly, whatever, is not reported on your credit report. So that's number one. There is no debt to income ratio reported on your credit report. Now, I know we talk about debt to income ratio and we talk about the debts that you carry, and that's a manual calculation, or we have software that calculates that, right? But it's not something that anybody that pulls your credit can tell you, well, your debt to income ratio is too high because of this, this, and this, unless they have your income information. If they don't have your income information, they can't tell you what your debt to income ratio is. And then different products require different debt to income ratio levels. So depending on where you fit on the spectrum and what you're trying to qualify for, some products are a little less aggressive than others. Some give you a 30% debt to income ratio. Some will take it up to a 50% debt to income ratio. And if you're qualifying under something where it's interest only or no income verification required, and we do have products like that coming out again, then there is no debt to income ratio. So So I want to make that clear that debt to income ratio is not something that's automatically calculated by your credit report. When you pull your credit report, the credit report does not have income information. They don't know what you make wherever you work. That's number one. Number two, I understood and I agreed with Kamala Harris, and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why I agreed that the rent and utilities and cell phone bills should be allowed on credit reports. And this is just from a lender's perspective, and I'm going to explain why. Because one of the arguments was that low income people aren't always on time, and this is true. Sometimes if your income is fixed, or if your income, if something happens and you're on a fixed income, or if something happens like maybe you blow a tire, we call them once in a lifetime occurrences or unexpected occurrences. Sometimes those things happen and it throws you behind on your bills, right? And if you're already living check to check, or your budget is really tight, it could throw you behind on a bill and it could affect things. But here's the thing with the utility bills and the credit report, the utility bills and the rent and cell phone bills. And this is why I think it's a good idea, because as a lender, a lot of people don't establish credit, and I think that's where she's coming from. As a lender, we would get people that would have zero credit, and people think that no credit is good credit and no credit is not good credit. I'm going to repeat that. People think no credit is good credit and no credit is not good credit. In fact, no credit is not, it's not called bad credit, it's just no credit. And so where she's coming from is what we had to do as lender. It's called compensating factors. Or now you would have to go to the credit reporting bureau and ask them to add in your history of your rent payments and get agreements from your landlord. Or you would have to call the cell phone company, or you'd have to call the utility company, and you'd have to have them prepare a 12-month payment history or a 24-month payment history, and then have that added on to your credit report. So these are a lot of extra steps that lenders take on your behalf that slows down the process. It's also not known at the time when you're ordering it if it's going to help or hinder your process, because sometimes people are not always truthful when they talk about how they've paid things. And so now you're delaying the process, and you're getting additional information that you're getting added to your credit report. It might help or it might hinder. But the other side of it is, some people don't have monthly bills on their credit report that they pay every single month, right? So if they don't have a credit card, or they don't have a car loan, or they don't have student loans, or they don't have installment loans that they're paying, they have no credit. And it is almost impossible to tell if you're going to be a good credit risk. And that's where Kamala was coming from, because a lot of people could qualify. They show a good tight score, maybe 660, 750, but they have no credit. And you can't lend on a score. Again, if you remember, a few months ago I told you, I've seen 780 credit reports get denied. I've seen 780 credit scores get denied. A score is not the risk a bank takes. A score does not determine your approval or your denial, and a score will not necessarily guarantee that you're a good credit risk, especially if you have no history of paying credit. You have no history. That means you don't have that, you haven't built up that, what's it called? A habit. You don't have a great habit of paying anybody. So no credit is not necessarily good. And I really want people to get this, because people cash and carry all the time. They cash their checks. They won't put it in the bank. They don't use credit cards to pay things and then pay off the credit card. They cash and carry. And then when it gets time to buy a house, buy a car, open a credit card, or whatever, you have no credit. You need credit to get credit. I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why right now. Credit is just a vetting system. It is a system to vet people. And what I mean by that, vetting means it keeps people in or it keeps people out, right? A vetting system is created for a lot of different processes to either let you in or let you out. I'm going to give you an example. When you graduate high school and you want to go to college, there's certain tests you might have to take, and there's certain things you might have to, classes that you had to take in order to qualify for certain colleges. They want to see that you took certain classes, and they want to see you got a certain grade point average, and they want to see that you have overall grade point average, GPA, and that maybe you've taken, if you want to get into some kind of, I wanted to do medical school, so you have to have so many science courses. What did your science courses look like, right? So there's vetting processes. If you don't meet their requirements, you can't get into that school. I'll give you another example. Jobs have sometimes tests you have to take. That's a vetting process, because we get more people applying for things than we have available to give things. So when you apply for jobs, there's only so many positions available. So they have to have a vetting process to weed out who they feel will be the best fit for that position. It's the same thing with credit. It is a vetting process. Credit is the process to vet. It's the process to vet people based on how much money that they want to lend out per year, how much money is going to be dispersed in loans, in credit card loans, in auto loans, boat loans, house loans, commercial loans, equipment loans, business loans. How many people can get these loans? So credit is the process of vetting. Now, I've talked to people about these credit repair companies over and over and over, and I get this question all the time. I will not repair your credit. I will teach you how to repair your credit, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason I will not repair your credit is because, again, people are looking for a quick fix. People are looking for their score to go from 620 to 780, which is promised. People are looking for that pie in the sky where, you have collections, but you don't have to pay them. Laws have changed. Then the HIPAA law says that if you have medical collections, you can get rid of those, and the medical companies don't have the right to have those on your credit report because of Privacy Act. And if you contact me, I'll get those medical collections removed from your credit report, and you won't have to worry about paying them. If you sign up with my credit card company, I will get all your credit card, your bad credit removed, this credit removed, that credit removed, and you don't have to pay anything. Let me tell you what. You can go through all of that and pay $200, $400, $40, $10, $1,000. I don't care what you pay. But what you're not going to get is you are never going to qualify for the same rates and the same products that people that have been paying their credit every single month on time for 10 years, all their life. You will never qualify for that. You will never walk into a bank and say, hey, I need to borrow $5,000. I got excellent credit. You can look at my credit history for the last 5 years and I've never missed a payment and here's my income. You will never qualify for anything like that if your mindset, you got that hustling mentality about credit and you just want to get it fixed quick to get something that day. And even if you get it fixed quick and you get something that day, you still are not going to qualify for the same rates, the same type of products that other people that's been paying stuff all their life on time for several years will get. You gotta get it in your head, and I want people to understand credit is a vetting system, and it's about your integrity. The banks have no way to know, the credit card companies have no way to know, the auto finance companies have no way to know what type of person you are. You can come in there smiling, all shinied up, smelling good, looking good. Have maybe you just got some money in the bank, so you got a nice little down payment for that time. And they don't know if you're a good risk or a bad risk. They don't know if you have integrity or not. The only way they can know this is that credit report. Credit reports are gold. They open up doors to you that nothing else can open up. It makes life easy if you would take the time and manage your life appropriately. And that is why I will not repair credit. Can I repair your credit? Hell yeah. I've been repairing credit for 1998. So what's that? 20 years? I've been repairing credit before credit repair companies existed. I was making 480s up into 700s in 1999, 2000, before all these credit repair companies popped up. And let me tell you another thing about those credit repair companies. They're hiring people off the street to repair your credit. I have 20 years of knowledge in the banking industry. I have a depth of knowledge that knows exactly what it takes, exactly what you need to do, and why you need to do it, and what it'll get you. These people are working off of a worksheet. These people are signing up, they're getting a packet, and this is telling them to do this, and this, do this, and this, and their score will go up. And it's true, your score will go up. But it's not what we see as a banker on the other side. Authorized credit does not work when you go for certain types of opportunities at the bank. And people can say they don't want bank loans all they want, but one of the highest things that people look for all the time is how to get a bank loan, how to get a business loan, how to get approved for a house loan, how to get a car loan. When you get denied and you got these car companies talking about, I'm the bad credit diva, or if you got bad credit, call me, or you filed a bankruptcy, call me. Can you get a car after you file bankruptcy? Yes, you can. The day after. But you're not going to get a car loan for the same type of interest rate, the same type of conditions, and you might not even be able to buy a car of your choice. You are limited to do what they tell you to do because you have not done what you were supposed to do. And that's all credit is. It's the history of your integrity with the bills and the debt that you take out. It is all the bank has to go on. Can you have bad credit, get it fixed right quick, and get something? Yes, you can. But you will never, ever be able to leverage credit in the manner of people that have been paying things on time for 10 years and never missed a beat. And you know what? You don't deserve to. If you're the type of person to jack your credit up and then go somewhere and pay for it to get fixed, you deserve to get the rate you get. You deserve to qualify for the product you qualify for. You deserve to get whatever term and limits you have. You deserve that because you have not done something so simple as be integrous with your word and pay people back the money you borrowed. And that's what banks are looking for. They want to see that you've borrowed a significant amount of money from people. If you want to go buy a house for $200,000, who's going to give you $200,000 and you can't even pay back $300 on your Macy's card? Every single month, $20 a month. You can't even pay Macy's on time. You can't even turn on your lights and pay the utility company what you owe them. And if you can't afford to do that, and let's say you are on a fixed income, because I've worked with a lot of people with low income, fixed income. They might be only on Social Security disability. They might only bring home $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And they want to buy a house, and they have every right to buy a house. And guess what? Some of those folks have paid every single bill on time all their life, and you pull up their credit and it's a 780 solid credit score. When we do any background checks, when we do any additional government background checks, when we do any additional collection checks or any other history checks that bankers do, we don't see anything derogatory in their history. Now when you go and get your credit fixed, the thing is with that, as a banker, as a corporation, these are big corporations with billions of dollars. Do y'all really think that they only see the stuff on your credit report? I mean, come on. Do you really think they are limited to see the stuff on your credit report? There are so many different background check systems that tell you everything about everything you've done, everyone you've ever owed, every place you've ever worked, every loan you ever took out, every student loan and government loan, and all government loans are tied into this one system, right? There's this one system that we look at that shows every government loan and what your payment history looked like and how you paid the government back. And you can have a 780 credit score all day, but if you there's a toggle on those government systems that show what type of risk you are. If they denote that you're a bad risk, the whole loan is dead. Point blank, period. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what your credit score looks like. You didn't pay the government. There's something that they do, and they toggle your credit report. And right before everything's cleared and everything's approved, it pops up, and the whole deal is dead. So don't think that just because you have things removed that you're not going to be accountable for the dirt you did. It's just that simple. I'm going to say it again. Don't think that just because you have things removed that you're not going to be held accountable for the dirt you did. If you want to have the same opportunities as other people with excellent credit that has taken their credit seriously, if you want to have the same opportunities, the same interest rate, the same opportunity for terms and limits, if you want the best of the best of the best, then you will not go out and just fix stuff. You will be integrous with your word, and if you borrow money, pay it back. If you get a collection, call that collection company and make arrangements to pay it back. They'll take $10 a month. They'll take $10 every other month. They will work with you to make sure that you pay it back. But let me tell you what, the process of paying somebody back and making sure that you're in good standing with that organization gets you a better credit profile than any of these credit repair companies can ever do. I'm telling you from a banker's perspective. Now, I'm not fixing anybody's credit. I will teach you how to fix your credit, and you can learn and you can do it the right way, but you gotta have a mind frame change. And if your whole frame of mind is hustling and getting over and getting by, and I might not want to do this and I might not want to do that, and I have this and that in my history and I'm not gonna fix it, then you're not ever gonna get the best of the best of the best. And the reason that I talk about this so much is because credit is so easy. It's so freaking easy to do. All you got to do is pay back what you owe. And if you don't want to pay it back, don't freaking borrow it. It's just that simple. If you got utilities and they're too high, figure out how to be energy efficient so that you don't have such a high bill to pay. If you can't afford your cable, turn it off. I only pay $30-something a month for DirecTV. Number one, I'm too busy for TV. And number two, I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of TV and I don't like a lot of movie channels. So I only pay $30. I know people that's paying $100, almost $200 a month on cable, and I don't get it. I mean, unless you're sitting at home every single day, and I'm assuming you working a job, why y'all cable bill so high? My phone bill is like $45 because I bought my phone and I have unlimited $50, and I bought the phone. Why are some people phone bills so high? What y'all doing? Instead of working with these credit repair companies and trying to get by and not pay somebody, why don't y'all call these people that you owe money to and find out why your darn bill is so high? I'm telling you from my mouth, my cable bill, I'm with DirecTV, $35 a month. My phone bill, $45 a month. So if you don't believe nobody else is paying it, now you know somebody is paying it. Get your bills down. Learn how to be energy efficient. Learn how to just get the stuff you need and lower those utility bills so that you can pay them on time every single month, and it's affordable. It's about budgeting. If you can't afford your utility bills and you're having other kind of issues, then you need to look at the other stuff you're spending a month. Don't go shopping. You don't have to go shopping every single month. Don't travel. Don't go out to eat so much. Like, there's things you can do to make your budget manageable. We all want to live within our means. And so when Kamala Harris brought up that legislation, I agree with it, because there are a lot of people out here that are not debt heavy, but they pay all those things on time. They pay rent by the first, they pay their utilities on time, and they pay their cell phone bills. And it will help to have that payment history on their credit report. It would help, not hurt. Everybody that said it would hurt was worried because they said, I don't pay that on time. Sometimes I don't pay that. People can't pay that. That mindset right there is why credit exists. That mindset right there is why you can't get what you want. That mindset right there is why you have all these things that you need to get fixed on your credit report. And I get a ton of inboxes. I get a ton of emails. And when I say, what is the problem? What do you need to do? Because I need your help. And it's a bunch of charge-offs, collections, and things that people, and I don't want to pay it. I don't have the money. Okay, well, what you want me to do? I'm not a magician. I'm not going to sit up here and I'm not going to remove stuff from your credit report that you owe. I'm not going to sit up here and remove judgments and charge-offs that you owe. Number one, you can't afford to pay me as much time as it's going to take. Go to them credit repair companies, sign up, pay them $40 a month or whatever it is. You can't afford to pay me. I did that back in 1999, 2000, 2010. I'm not doing that no more. I will teach you how to clean your credit and keep it clean, but you cannot afford to pay me individually to clean your credit, and you got all this junk on your credit, and you don't want to even make good on what you owe. It's not worth my time. You know how many letters you got to write? You know how many people you got to talk to? You know how many months you got to wait, negotiation you got to do? Can it be done? Yes, it can. Is it worth my time? No, it's not. If you want to do it, go to them credit repair companies and have them do it. If you want to learn how to do it the right way, then you'll take my class and learn how to do it the right way. The class is called, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's 10 Steps to Yes. 10 Steps to Yes, Becoming Bankable. And it's about the whole credit profile. So not only will you learn how to fix your credit and create your budget the right way, but you'll learn what are we looking for as bankers when we're trying to get you approved? What's credit risk? What's the banker's risk? What are they willing to take risk on? And how can you create your credit profile so that you're approvable? And the whole beauty of it is, once you create your credit profile, it's just maintenance, because now your budget is affordable. You've got everything in place. It's just maintaining it. It's not that difficult. Some people like to struggle. Some people like to stay down and struggle. Some people don't. The other thing is, if you're not making enough money to afford the debt you have, or if you're not making enough money to do the things that's required, maybe you need to take some steps to make a little bit more money. There's a lot of opportunity out here for everybody. There's so many opportunities out here. It doesn't matter what's wrong with you. It doesn't matter what's right with you. There are a lot. I know so many people hiring for all kinds of jobs. There's all kinds of things to do out here. And if you don't have the skills, there's free certification courses out here so that you can up your skills and get to the 2019 area of doing stuff. Like, there's so many jobs coming available. So get with the times, figure out new things to do, and go make a little bit of extra money. But you cannot always think that you're going to qualify. When you see people out here living the life and they are able to go into the bank and get any kind of loan they want, and they get a great interest rate, and they can drive any car, and they have the American Express Platinum card or the Diners card, and you can't get it, you can't be mad, because credit is a vetting system. Either you're going to get vetted on the positive side, or you're going to get vetted on the negative side. There is no in between. You either do pay or you don't pay. And if you don't pay, you get what you get. You get what you deserve. But it's just so frustrating because it's such an easy thing to do. It's almost like when you're growing up as a kid, and you want to buy some candy, and you don't have that quarter to go to get that pack of now later, somebody loan you a quarter. That next day, you bring that quarter back, because you never know if you need to borrow a quarter from that friend like 3 months later, right? That's credit. That's all credit is. And if you don't have that credit at home, if you know you can't go home and go in your piggy bank and get that quarter, then you don't borrow it. It's just that simple. I've been teaching credit for 20 years. I've been cleaning up credit. I stopped probably 5 years ago. So I cleaned credit, like I said, before all these credit repair companies popped up. I was cleaning credit before there were credit scores on a credit bureau. That's how long I've been working in credit. I've been pulling credit since before there were credit scores on credit bureaus. I remember back in the 90s when they first added that FICO score, and we was like, what is this? Where did they get this number from? They only added one. That was when we would roll the credit report off the machine. The credit report was typed out. It wasn't any computers back then like that. So we had to roll that thing off, and we had to cut it at the perforated line and make sure we cut it at the right line where it didn't cut off any of your information. That's how long I've been dealing with credit. So when I talk about credit, trust me, I know credit. I've been watching how credit has it has grown over the years. Now there's 3 credit scores where there used to be none. Now there's different things that you can do. Credit boost, credit this, credit that, and all of it works. But the whole point is, if you are just integrous with your word, if you just do what you say you're going to do, like that little kid that want that pack of now laters in the 3rd grade. When you wanted that pack of now laters and you wanted to go in the store and you didn't have that quarter to buy it, and your friend said, here go a quarter, just pay me back tomorrow. If you ain't had that credit, if you didn't have that quarter at home, you have to say no. If you got that quarter at home, you go on and get that quarter from your friend, buy your pack of now-and-lays, and tomorrow you come back with that quarter. That's what credit is. If you don't have the money to pay back the debt, then you don't borrow the debt. Because there are so many companies, especially on college campuses, that, and I'm not going to say they're predators, but they're in business to make money. Point blank. They don't give a damn about you. They don't care about you. They care about getting you in debt to make that money, because they're going to collect it one way or another. If you don't have money to pay it back, don't open the debt. If you at TJ Maxx, like they tell you all the time, you want to open a TJ Maxx card and get 10% off your order today, 10% off your bill today, and blah, 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 blah. If you can't pay it in full that day, then you say no. When you go to Macy's at Christmas time, they're talking about open up a credit card and you get 25% off. Why do you think they're giving you a discount? It's a business. They know you're not going to pay it off, and they know they're going to charge you interest. And have you looked at the interest? Do you understand interest? When they say interest, that means that if you borrow $1 from me, you got to pay me back $1.30. Hello? So if you borrow $100 from me, you got to pay back $130. If you borrow $1,000 from me, you got to pay back $1,300. They know you're not going to pay that debt off at the end of the month. They know you're not coming back, or you're not calling it. Number one, they don't even get you your bill in time to pay the bill back before the 30 days. So guess what? You've already accrued. You've already accrued monthly interest. You got to call in and be proactive. If you don't have the money, don't take out the debt. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You only charge what you can afford to pay back. If you can't afford to pay it back, and then some of the creditors are even more tricky because their revolving time is 28 days. So if you don't pay back within 28 days or something like that, they change it. If you don't pay it back within then, you get charged interest, right? If you want to keep it with no interest, you pay it back within a certain amount of time. Read the back of the statement. When they say, here's the application, sign here. No, I'm not going to sign here. I'm going to read the back because I want to see what my APR is, and I want to see what my monthly charges are. What are my yearly costs? What are my annual fees? What are my monthly finance charges? Read all of that information before you open up a credit card. And if you can't afford, and do the calculations in your head. If you're about to buy something for $300 and something and they're going to charge you 30%, if you can't pay that $90 something on top of what you already owe because you know your budget is tight, then give them back the dang on application and buy your stuff. It's just that simple. So, no, I don't fix credit. Yes, I'll teach you how to fix your credit yourself, and I'll teach you how to manage it. I'm not going to take things off of credit reports because of HIPAA laws. I'm not going to say, you know what, I can remove this from your credit report because the laws have changed and because of the Privacy Act. Yes, all of that stuff is true. But guess what's happening on the other side? On the other side is you're not paying people that you owe. And how many people loan money out today freely? How many of y'all loan money out freely? When I talk to people, they say, I don't loan no money out. I got burnt and I'm not doing it again. That's why creditors charge, and that's why they charge so high. They've been burnt too. But how many of y'all, if y'all don't loan your own money, then what makes you think that somebody gonna loan you money cheap? If you don't want to pay your collections and if you don't want to pay all this bad credit that's on your credit report, and you just want to go pay somebody to remove it, have at it. But I'm gonna tell you, you are never, ever, ever going to qualify for the same dynamic, like diamond status. Like, there are so many things you could do with credit if you just paid stuff on time. You will never qualify for the people that can walk in the bank, shake a hand, the bankers love them, they come in there and they get $10,000 because they need it, because they say, you know what, I'm going to pay it back in 6 months. After I'm going to invest this money, it's going to double. I'll bring you back your money in 6 months. And guess what? 5 months and 28 days, they're paying the bank back. They can come back in another 6 months and borrow $200,000 because they pay their debts. They have a long history of paying their debts. It's not something new. You can't go open up new credit like last year and think, okay, I opened up new credit last year. I got a 780 score. I should be able to get this, this, and this. When you're talking to somebody that's been doing this for 20 years, they've been paying everything on time for 20 years. They've bought 4 cars and paid them all off and paid them on time. They bought 2 houses, they paid them off and they paid them all on time. They've had 15 Discover cars, and because they keep getting their credit limit raised. They go from a regular Discover card to a gold to a platinum to the whatever, or American Express. That's who you competing with. Your competition is the whole darn world. Your competition is everybody out here that's paying on something. And you think because you know how to rig a system right quick, you're going to qualify for all the great stuff those folks get? No. And the best thing about your credit report, it don't say what kind of ethnicity, religion, sex, nothing you are, right? It's a black and white report. Don't nobody know who you are, what you look like, or where you coming from. But they do know this person has stellar credit. They might even have a 720 score or a 680 score, but they've never been late, and they've done all their background checks. They've done all the other software system checks. They've done all kind of other stuff, and everywhere they look, everything is perfect. Those people are going to qualify for things you'll never qualify for. So if you want to keep going to that bad credit diva, or if you want to keep going to, if you had a bankruptcy, we'll still let you buy or whatever, y'all can keep going there. I'm trying to help people understand the vetting system, because there are so many things you can qualify for if you just understand how to play by the rules. and playing by the rules is what's most important. So that's all I wanted to talk about. That's all I wanted to say. If you got, let me know what you think in the comments, or go on my page at The Trusted Banker, or join my group, The Trusted Bank, at The Trusted Banker group page, and let me know what you think. The article is in there. This came from the article that I put up about Kamala Harris that wants to add on the rent and the utility bills and cell phone bills onto credit reports. I'm in agreement. Some people are not, and the only argument that they had was because I don't make those payments on time, or it's going to hurt my debt to income ratio. It's not going to do either. Credit reports don't calculate debt to income ratios. Those are manual calculations done by lenders, or there are software calculations done by the system. And if you don't pay all that stuff on time, sometimes people don't have a lot of other credit, and so those kind of things on a credit report helps. I can't tell you how many times I have taken rent, utility, cell phone, and added it to a credit report in order to get somebody approved. We call them compensating factors because they're not allowed on the credit report. And the bad thing about that is all of the different credit criteria or underwriting criteria only looks as what's on the credit report. So you can have stellar credit with a utility bill, cell phone bill, and with your landlord, but because it's not allowed right now on the credit report, some people can't qualify. And that to me is not fair. And the only people that said we don't want it on the credit report are people that said sometimes we don't pay that stuff on time. So, if you don't pay stuff on time, I'm really not talking to you. I'm talking to people that are really out here working. They working hard. They playing by the rules, and they trying to do better in their life, and they trying to get somewhere, and they trying to get something. People that don't pay their stuff, I'm not talking to you, because you're not even where I'm at right now, and you're not where these people are either. You're not even in the bank talking to the bankers. You somewhere hiding because your credit is bad. So you keep on hiding, and you keep doing what you're doing, but how dare you not allow people that are doing the things that they need to do, and they're managing their budget, and they're not opening up additional credit cards and all these other things that they can't afford, so they have limited credit. Limited credit is different than no credit. Okay? Limited credit is different than no credit, because some people with limited credit have a history, and they'll have patches of where they've had credit and it's been stellar and they pay it off. So that's limited credit. We can go back in their history for the entire life and see what they've done. No credit, when that credit report comes up, it's like XX0. It's not no score. It's like error. It's no score. That's no credit. That gets you nothing, right? So if you don't want it on your credit report because you think it's going to hurt people, it's only going to hurt people that are not managing their budget correctly and are living beyond their means. And I'm not talking to you. Period. So, come tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Money Mondays, The Trusted Banker, right here. I'll be right here, and I'll be on the Trusted Banker group page talking about, I don't know yet. I got to think about it. It's actually in my office, but I just got so fired up about people hollering about they don't want stuff being shown because it's not in the right order. Man, you ain't in the right order. So if you're not in the right order, we're not talking to you. She's talking to people that are actually trying to do the right thing on a limited income budget or on limited income, and they're doing the best they can, and they're paying everybody on time, and they need additional depth of credit. That's who she's talking to. So tomorrow, see y'all 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Lysa Davis. I'm the Trusted Banker. You can find me on Facebook at The Trusted Banker, Instagram at The Trusted Banker, Twitter at The Trusted Banker, and YouTube at The Trusted Banker. See y'all tomorrow. Have a happy Sunday. Bye.